We're going to talk about how not all money is good money on this segment of the Gig Geezer. If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, if you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, thanks for coming by. And if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome comments in the section below. It is Thursday, March 13, 2025, and I'm done for today. Now, today was by design a short day, and the reason being I need some rest. I did a live stream recently with Driving with Ty, and I shared how I was exhausted and dehydrated. But I think the reason for the exhaustion and dehydration is because I had some type of a stomach bug or virus that's going through my system right now, and so I'm still feeling it a little bit. But I was able to get out the house, complete this catering order, and now I'm heading back to the Geezer compound. Well, I mentioned in the teaser how not all money is good money. And there's some truth to that. I did not hear that saying until I got into the delivery and transport space. But there's much truth to that, because you see certain dollar amounts on opportunities that are offered, and it's my belief that a lot of people, they see the dollars, but then they fail to read what the opportunity is about. And then when they do it, they realize that they fucked themselves, because it may be an opportunity in which you're driving more distance than what you really should have been driving, or it's going to require more work than what's required, and so therefore you got fucked. Now, my example of how not all money is good money is based on today. Initially, I'd accepted another catering opportunity in which it was a $1,200 order that was paying $105. Normally, I don't even take orders like that because it's just not enough based on the order size. But when I saw the order that I just completed come across, in which it was $379 and it was paying $66.29, I canceled out of the initial catering opportunity and took this one. And I'm glad I made that move. It was the right decision. Now, some would say, hell, I'd do it for $104. I don't give a fuck. It's $104. Well, you're right. It is. But this took way less work. In fact, just driving distance, it was literally a 5-minute drive from the pickup location to this drop-off location. 5-minute drive and less items, and the tip was comparably better. Now, the reason why I say that is because what you gotta understand with a lot of these catering orders of late, the catering companies have bent to the will of the aggregator, Easy Cater, in which they've restructured how tips are being paid out. According to Easy Cater, orders from $1,000 to $1,999, $100 tip, $2,000 to $2,999, $200, $3,000 to $339.99, $300, and then so on and so forth. And it used to be orders like that. If it was a $1,200 order, shit, I mean, it could easily pay a couple $100, easily. But that's not the case now. And if you ever pay attention, you'll see how the base pay is $10 and the tip is only $100, or base pay is $4 and then the tip is whatever. That's telling me that these companies are digging more into our pockets and taking more for themselves. But anyway, that's just one example of how not all money is good money. In fact, another reason why I took this one, well, the comparative reason why I took this one is that the other catering order was going to require more work, and knowing where the location was, it was going to require me going up to the 5th floor, and probably having to make a couple trips, not to mention that restaurant is typically slow with the orders being ready. And so then you deal with the app asking, well, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Can you give us an estimate on your time of arrival or your departure? Well, as I got there to this particular location today, and I was surprised with them because usually they're slow as well. But as I came in, the guy was coming out on a cart with the catering order opportunity. So it was a very seamless process. So that's an example of how you go for the smart money. It's not always about how much money you can make. Sometimes it's about being more efficient with the opportunities, or comparatively speaking, what's more a quality opportunity. And also, let me throw some numbers out there. So I mentioned about that catering opportunity was $1,275, paying $104. Now that was this is a little formula that I do sometimes. If it's less than 10% of the order amount, so in order, really, if I really would have gone through taking it, that order would have had to pay $127.50, somewhere in there, $127. Since it was paying $104, it was paying 83%, and that's cutting it close. Although for me, I have taken orders that have paid 75%, but I can count them on one hand over the last 3 years of my doing catering opportunities. With this one paying 83%, that it just did not excite me. Whereas this one, $379, is paying $66.29. You do the math. Which one sounds better? Again, I get it. Some people would take the $104, but I'm not that person. Not if I have another option. I mean, to me, what's $40? What's $40 in the greater scheme of things? But it's then a matter of principle. It's just a matter of principle. So, but I'll give you another example of how sometimes not all money is good money. Let's say that you're on a roll one day and you're really making some money, and then you see another opportunity that comes up that you can really run up the numbers. And that's what happened to me a couple of days ago. Now, I'm not going to talk about how much money I made, but let's just say that I had 1, 2, 3, 4 delivery opportunities. Okay, and I took and 2 of them. One of them was a cash game opportunity, and the other was a delivery opportunity. And man, I really paid the price on that because I was slap tired by the time I got back to the geezer compound. Yes, I made the money, but it came at a cost. It came at a cost. And so, would you say then that not all money is good money? Let's just say that the combined opportunities were paying over $600. I'll let you answer that one. When it comes to not all money is good money, sometimes, and this is something a fast friend shared with me, sometimes you have to be willing to lose in order to win. And what I mean by that is sometimes you may have to take the temporary loss of that missed opportunity until a better opportunity comes by. But the question is, how long are you willing to wait for that opportunity? And admittedly, I'm not the most patient person. And quite honestly, I believe that my situation, everybody's situation is different. And so that's going to really dictate how long are you willing to wait. If you're in a position where you've got money put back and, you're doing well, you can wait a little longer than the next person. But you know what you have to take care of. And so that's really going to dictate to you how you accept opportunities just as much as anything else. I'm going to go back over this again. I'm sure that you've done some opportunities and you realize as you're heading there, or once you get there, or as you're going through with completing the opportunity, you realize that you fucked up. You you realize that you took on a bad opportunity, but you're stuck with it. You're stuck. You could do like I have done with some apps and cancel out late. But the thing that you risk with canceling out late with some of these apps is that you now, as I had begun documenting this talk about how not all money is good money, I happened to see an opportunity come across my phone screen. Paying for that order, it's a very, very, very good order. And it was one that I could have taken. But I realized that it's funny because I was talking about how not all money is good money. And what happens is sometimes when you grab certain opportunities, you may put yourself in a position where your ass is in a sling. And it could cost you. If you're working a gig app, it could cost you in terms of being deactivated or your account being placed on suspension. Or depending on the customer, they can request that you don't come back there anymore. So sometimes you really, as hard as it is to pass on money that you know is good money, sometimes you have to do that, and that's exactly what I had to do today. I think though that if this were yesterday, I could have done it. And certainly if it were tomorrow, I could do it. But today, I just couldn't do it. So I missed out on some money, but it was one that I was willing to take the L for, knowing I'm having to play the long game. I'm having to play the correct strategy with things. Sure, it's easy to say, well, I've already made some X number of dollars so far this week, and I can afford to. No, I'm always looking to add to the win column. I'm always looking to add to the ledger in terms of money earned during the week. I'm all about trying to earn as much as I can every single week. But this is one, man, I just had to pass. I know that I'm not describing exactly what it is, but I promise you, it's an opportunity that paid very good for the distance driven and for what is required. It's a very, very good opportunity. Maybe if it were later in the day, I might have been able to do it, but as it is right now, I had to pass. So, sometimes you have to also get past the anguish of the loss, and I'm having to do that at this time. I'm having to do that at this time, and what you end up having to say is you're okay with it. Now, I know that sometimes you may be having a bad week, and when you see certain opportunities, you're like, man, I gotta do it. I just gotta do it. Fuck it, I just gotta do it. But then if it fucks you up down the road, was it worth it? That's something that people will ask you as well. Was it worth it that's actually the question that's asked when you realize how not all money is good money. You have to ask yourself the question, was it worth it? And only you can answer that question. So that's all I have to share for this particular segment of the Gig Geezer. If you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane as always. May your grind and may your hustle continue.